How about All or Nothing? That was your first #1 single. Do you have any particular memories of that song?
All or Nothing. Yes. I remember Steve wrote it. And we went in the studio and recorded it, and it sounded really good. And it came out, it was #1. Yes, it was.
What was it like being teen idols? You must have been, what, about 18?
We was teen boppers, actually. Actually, it was fantastic, you know. I mean, there's nothing more that a young kid could want, sort of like get a hit record and that kind of thing. I mean, phew, that was...
So open up your mind as well as your heart.
Andrew Manning to the Stones, and I believe you were one of the first signings to his new label.
Yes, well, Steve knew Andrew beforehand, and he knew the Stones beforehand too. But he knew Andrew, and I suppose he went to him. Anyway, we signed up with Andrew, and after Decca Records, it was like heaven, you know, and everything was laid on, and we could have as much studio as we wanted, studio time as what we wanted, and of course, we never made any money from Immediate Records. I don't know who did.
It changed dramatically, I think, after you signed on to Immediate Records. You went from being a very raw, screaming R&B soul-based band to doing more thoughtful, psychedelic type music. How did that change come about?
Well, because by then we was more thoughtful and psychedelic. Kent? Yeah, we was kind of more thoughtful and psychedelic. I mean, I got spiked at a party with, who was that manager that the Beatles had? Brian Epstein. Yeah, he was there. Brian Epstein was there. And this guy came out with a plate with carp oranges on it, and he passed them all to his guests and that. And I thought, well, this is a bit funny, isn't it? Funny party, ain't it? And so I thought, well, I have a bit of orange, and I took a piece, and I took it, and same as everybody else did. But half an hour later, things started to happen, you know. And I didn't know what I'd been given, or if I'd been given anything, or what was happening. I didn't know what was happening, you know. And it was quite horrific at the time, but then it turned into something that was quite beautiful. Overbridge yourself. The kind of, you know, the teen boppers thing it became quite a noise really, because after that, after we had the hit record, we never heard ourselves on the stage again. The Small Faces didn't, because it's all screaming all the time, you know. And I mean, I know it's great, but it wasn't good for the music. And in actual fact, when the Small Faces got a little bit sort of calmed down, a little bit, 69, and they stopped screaming, then we heard ourselves. That's why Steve Marriott left the band. Right in the beginning of the Small Faces career, really.
Played the same circuit of clubs in his band?
He did. We didn't kind of see him. We was touring all around England and Europe. we never got to come to America at all, which was a pity in actual fact, because I think I would have ended up here a lot earlier. But anyway, no, Woody was playing in Jeff Beck's band. He came to America, and he phoned me up after the Small Faces was finished. He phoned me up and he said, "Hey Ronnie," he said, "what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm not doing anything, Ronnie, you know." So he said, "Boy," he said, "why don't you come and play bass with a new band I'm forming?" So I said, "Well, all right then." 'Cause I just thought, I'll try it out, you know. So I went down to the Rolling Stones rehearsal studio in Bermondsey, which was run by Ian Stewart, bless him. He's no more with us, you know. And I didn't like it very much, and I said to him, I said, "Well, why don't you sort of come and join me and the boys, me and What's Left of the Faces, me, Mac and Kenny?" He said, "Well, all right then." So I saw Ian Stewart, and I said, "Well, can the boys have some place down here?" And he said, "Oh, sure you can. Stones would like to help you out and all that." So anyway, we went down there, and it was good. And at the same time, Rod Stewart, who Woody had been playing with in the Jeff Beck band, he actually started to come to the rehearsals, and he'd wait around upstairs, you know. So in the end, Kenny Jones says, "Well, Rob, why don't you come down and sing something then with us, you know?" So Rod said, "Yeah, all right then." So that's how we got together. Simple as that.
What do you remember about those years on the road with the Faces, coming to America, touring the world for the first time?
Well, I tell you what, America made the Faces. They really did, because there's something about the American kids it's different to the English kids. I mean, the American kids seemed to know what was going on, you know, and whereas the English kids or the European kids would just sort of like fluff over it. The American kids sort of knew what was going on, you know, so we had to take it very seriously, you know. So we come to America and worked 3 months at a time, every night, 3 months at a time. And sure, we got good after 2 years. I mean, but I admit that we was good, you know. I used to be quite amazed at my own band, you know. I'd look around, and because I was getting so high off the music, you know. It was pretty good.
You know, don't ease up, keep going, do what we was doing just now.
And having hits that the band didn't play on.
We kind of didn't. We did kind of negate it, because obviously it meant that there would be more people at the shows, you know. That's all it really meant, was more people at the shows. And actually, we never foresaw that the hits would give Rod a lot more power in the band than any of us had, you know.
Because up until that time, the songwriting had been pretty well split between three of you anyway.
Yes. Yes. And yes. We was touring about 3 months at a time, and we toured about sort of 8 months of that year, and we promised a vacation, 2 weeks vacation. We was promised that all year. We was promised that. So then we came up, November came up, we went on vacation for 2 weeks. But at the same time, this engagement came up for Top of the Pops. For Rod's sort of solo stuff. So I said, I'll leave it out. I said, you'll have to get a cardboard cutout. That's what they did.
Had you ever seen that film?
No, I never did. I'm ashamed to see it, I think.
How did you come to leave the Faces? You left in 1974, I believe?
73.
73?
Yes. Easter 73. Yeah, I have become very unhappy with the Faces, you know. I don't really know why. Looking back on it.
It must have been hard to leave a band that was that successful and doing that well.
Oh yeah, especially when I had kind of put in so much to it, really. I mean, if anything, I think Rod himself would agree that I was the spirit of the Faces, you know. Yeah, I suppose pretty hard to leave something that was my baby, you know. But it just not turned into what I wanted, you know. So I just got out. And that's the end of that. We all make mistakes, and we're sorry, all over nothing at all. What?
The emotional reunion was a testament to the strength of founding member Ronnie Lane, who suffers from multiple sclerosis.
One of the main reasons we're here tonight is for Ronnie Lane.
Yeah.
That is
definitely the driving force. I mean,
because really, as I've said so many times, he was like really the spirit behind the Faces. Right. It wasn't us three or Mac come to that. It was Lane.
We're cutting out a lot of history here, about 10 years of touring with Slim Chance, playing with Pete Townsend.
Well, Kent, we should cut out quite a lot of it because, you know, it is a short movie. Yes?